If you've thought about starting your Pinterest management business, you might be wondering, how in the world am I going to find clients? This concern about finding clients for your freelance business is definitely a common concern and a question I see popping up a lot from people who are thinking about starting their Pinterest management business. So in today's episode, I'm going to break down for you how you are going to find these clients or these business owners that are interested in hiring you and essentially paying you for your service, which would be managing their Pinterest account. I'm Emily Bales. I'm a Pinterest marketing and ads strategist, and for over 4 years now, that's exactly what I have done. I have managed Pinterest accounts for business owners, and I became so passionate about it that I actually decided to start my Pinterest Manager Academy. And what happens within that academy is I am teaching my students how to start their freelance business. So all the ins and the outs, from learning how to market on Pinterest to creating their packages and proposals to nailing their discovery calls. So I'm truly setting them up for success. But before people even get started with their Pinterest management business, they want to know,
is this something that there's actually a need for? Is this an in-demand service?
And that's a really great question, because why would you even start your business if there's not really a need? So let's take it back a few steps and talk about what Pinterest does for business owners. So Pinterest is a search and discovery platform. It is a search engine. So you can classify Pinterest like a Google or a YouTube. They're all search engines. So it's a place for business owners to be discovered and ultimately drive traffic to their website, their offers, their affiliates. And through that traffic, they can monetize. So it's obviously a great thing for businesses to utilize. So a business owner is never going to say,
No, I don't need more traffic to my website.
you will never hear a business owner say that, because a lot of times one of the biggest struggles for business owners is that they might have an amazing offer, but they just don't have eyes on their offer. So they need visibility and they need more people to know about what they have to offer. So you can see where Pinterest would be a really helpful tool for them. Not to mention that 97% of searches are unbranded on Pinterest, which means that especially for a small business owner, there's this huge opportunity for them to be discovered. Plus, because of the nature of Pinterest, pinners are going to the platform and they are typing in what they need ideas and inspiration for. They have a problem and they're actively looking for a solution. So through those keywords, they are essentially getting connected to businesses who are marketing their offers, their lead magnets, their ideas, their inspiration. So not only are pinners looking for solutions to their problems, but they kind of have a different mindset than people who are on social media. So I always like to explain that to business owners, but it's also important to understand that as a Pinterest manager, because as you start to get on discovery calls and you talk to business owners and you start educating your audience about the power of Pinterest, you can also help business owners understand why they would want to be marketing on Pinterest if they aren't yet. So it is absolutely a service where there is a demand, and I think it's one platform where it's kind of exciting because there are a lot of monthly users. There's lots of businesses marketing on Pinterest, even huge names such as Target, Peloton, Lush. But like I said, there's also a lot of small business owners using it. However, there's a ton of business owners where Pinterest is still on their to-do list. So if you can help take that off their plate as a Pinterest manager, then you obviously are well on your way to really becoming booked out with your freelance business. So now let's go ahead and kind of pivot here and talk about how you are going to find clients, because in order to start your business with confidence, you want to feel like,
Okay, if I learn this skill, I'm going to be able to find these clients so then I can become booked out and actually have a thriving business.
because if you're not getting paid for your service, there's not an exchange of money, then you don't have a business. So through my Pinterest manager training, I do talk about the ins and the outs of Pinterest marketing and also how to find clients. but I want to dive even deeper into this concept of how and where to find clients in this video. But if you want to learn more, I would love for you to attend my next free live Pinterest manager training, where I am going to show you how to make 5K monthly as a Pinterest manager. So I would love to see you there. Now back to how to find clients. So I love continually learning. I think it's the teacher in me. I am a former teacher, and so I'm always consuming different podcast episodes, listening to audible books, and one book that I recently listened to was $100 Million Leads from Alex Hormozi. And that book is so good. I highly recommend it. Not an affiliate, but I do love to receive book recommendations myself. And through this book, I cannot take credit for the way that he breaks this down, because it was all his thoughts and ideas that I'm sharing. But I think it's a really great way to process that there is a limited number of ways that you can find potential clients or leads for your business. So the way that he breaks it down, when you are thinking about how to find clients for your Pinterest manager business, now obviously he doesn't say Pinterest manager business, but he's talking to all business owners, is there's really 4 different options. 1, you can reach out to friends and family. 2, you can reach out to cold leads. So that means people who have no idea who you are. You could reach out to them through email. You could reach out to them through social media. I know personally, I get pitched to a lot through social media. People are always sending me direct messages on Instagram. So when you're thinking about that, we have friends and family, we have cold leads, and then we also have social media. So platforms where you can market yourself. So when you can put your offer out there, then people can start coming to you once they discover you. So some service-based businesses will utilize Pinterest, and they will essentially kind of showcase their expertise through a blog or something along those lines, where they're educating their audience about, how powerful Pinterest is and what Pinterest can do for their business. And then they might use the call to action, book a free discovery call with me. So you can see that that would be a way to get leads. And so through marketing yourself on social media platforms, or even on a platform like Pinterest, where it really is a search and discovery platform, you can have people booking calls and kind of discovering you through that way. Then the 4th way that he explains that you can essentially get leads is through paid advertising. So when we kind of walk back through these steps, there's really 2 that I think are going to be the most helpful when you're first starting your Pinterest management business. So the 2 options I'm going to just eliminate right away: paid advertising. And then I would say the other one would probably be social media marketing or marketing on other platforms for your business. Now, the reason why I'm eliminating those 2 options is because a lot of times when people are starting their freelance business, most of the people in my audience are already working a job, or they feel that money is a little bit tight. And in the beginning, paid advertising, you're going to be investing, and you might not see the return right away. And honestly, I know, speaking from experience, running Facebook ads, it's not super cheap, and you definitely have to invest a decent amount of money to really see what's working and what's not working. At least that was my experience. Now, this episode is not to give you strategy and coaching with your Facebook ads, but I'm just saying, I think that is definitely not something that most of my students I know for sure are not wanting to go that paid advertising route. So we are eliminating that option. So the other option would be marketing on platforms. Now, although this is an option that doesn't have to cost money, it does cost you your most valuable commodity, which is your time. Now, I don't want to say that you shouldn't start your Instagram or your Facebook. If you love social media and you are all for getting yourself out there and getting visibility through that means, I say absolutely go for it. But the only reason why with my students, I'm not highly encouraging them to invest a lot of time in that route is just because social media takes some time to grow too and to get visibility. Now, I know that there are always exceptions to the rule. So if you really love to create content and that excites you, by all means go that route. And then as you're sharing your content, your expertise, then you can give people the call to action, book a discovery call with me. So I say I'm eliminating that option, but that actually could be a powerful route for your business. But you also have to feel and think about what aligns with you and what's going to feel right for you. So I will say it's going to take some time, and you're going to be investing that commodity and that content creation. So that's just something to think about. Now, on the other side, The reason why I kind of prefer these two options for finding clients is because I think that it can be so much faster. So for my students, a lot of times they are looking for a quick win. They want to land that first client and they really want to get their feet wet with applying what they've been learning through the academy, which is how to market on Pinterest. So you can go through your contacts. That would be anybody in your phone, anybody that you follow or you're friends with on social media platforms, anybody in your realm or your sphere. So think about even, local businesses. Now, I will say if they're not already in your contacts, then technically that would be a cold, obviously, pitch or cold lead. So we'll get into that in a second. But thinking about those warmer ones where it's really friends and family, some people are not comfortable with reaching out to friends and family and kind of striking up that conversation. However, you can do it in a way that feels right, where you start a sincere conversation with them and then just say, you don't have to say,
would you be interested in hiring me for my Pinterest management services?
But you could say,
hey, I just started my Pinterest management business and I would love to know, do you know of anybody who would be interested in marketing their business on Pinterest? I would love to get some testimonials under my belt.
So in the beginning, you don't even have to, I don't want to say push, but it's kind of pushing. You don't have to push even your paid offers. In the beginning, I teach my students just get a testimonial, because a lot of times that testimonial can lead into something else. That person, if they're happy with your work, might end up paying you, or they might tell you about their friends, because especially once they've had a good experience with you, they are obviously much more likely to refer you. So I just want you to think about the power that has and what that could turn into. So a lot of people, you can kind of sift through your contacts and think about who, you would feel comfortable reaching out to. However, I say that with being comfortable. And one of the most important things I teach my students is just get comfortable with the uncomfortable. And I know that sounds ridiculous or like an oxymoron, but it's so true. When you first start your business, everything is going to be so new to you, and you have to push yourself outside of your comfort zone if you want to see growth. Anytime I've broken through a ceiling or a plateau, it's when I have finally pushed myself outside of my comfort zone. So it's okay to push yourself. And if they don't know of anybody that'd be interested in Pinterest management, guess what? The world's not going to stop turning. They're just going to say,
nope, I don't know of anybody.
And you can wish them well and move on. So I think that we are all very egocentric, where we think people care so much about what we're doing and what we say, and we're so worried about what they think about us, and they don't care. They don't care. Everybody is focused on themselves. That's just our innate being, is that we care the most about ourselves and what other people are thinking about us. So it's one of those things where it's uncomfortable, but they will probably never think twice about it. And ultimately, you could end up getting your first client. So are you going to let your ego get in the way, or are you going to push past that so you can find success? Because I feel that once my students are getting on those first discovery calls, getting those first testimonials, it really creates momentum, and it helps you push forward once you find those small wins. They are so exciting, and even though they might feel small, they're actually really huge wins. So now the other option would be reaching out to cold leads, or I should say people who are a cold audience to you. So they're not really a lead yet, but they're a cold audience and they could become a lead. So cold pitching is a strategy that I also teach within the Pinterest Manager Academy, and it is something that I wish I would have leaned into much sooner within my business, because it is so powerful. So when you're cold pitching, that person is, hence the name cold, they don't know who you are, they don't know anything about you, they've never heard of you, and so it is really your job to come across in a way where you have actually put something together strategically to really showcase not who you are, but what you can do for them. I think that some of my students, they have sent me different pitches and things they've put together. And sometimes what I find is there's a lot of,
this is me, this is my background, this is how I got here.
A lot of times business owners don't really care too much about that. They want to know what you can do for them. So you have to figure out how you can make them the hero of the story. So they are cold to you. You want to figure out how you can turn that into a lead. So cold pitching is also really empowering too, because when you are in the driver's seat and deciding who you are reaching out to, what business owners you think would benefit from Pinterest, that person can be your ideal client. So once you start getting traction or you get responses, because you have hand selected who you were reaching out to. It's so exciting because you're like,
oh my gosh, this person is perfect. I'm so excited about their business. I know I can help them on Pinterest.
And it's really exciting, and it's also addicting. I know when I first started my business, for whatever reason, I was very resistant of cold pitching. I think I just felt that it was going to feel out of alignment for me for some reason, almost icky. And it's crazy that when it's done well, it doesn't feel that way at all. You've taken the time, you've done your research, you have hopefully put together something that can show them the power and potential of Pinterest for their business, and it feels so different. And then I also didn't mind following up with them again and again because I knew that I had done my due diligence, put together something that was really helpful for them, and also researched their business. So I wasn't just copying and pasting 3,000 messages. Now, some people, because cold pitching is a numbers game, you could copy and paste 3,000 messages, and it is numbers. You will get a response, and very well, I'm sure you will get a client. However, I teach in my academy taking a little bit more time, and I find that that increases that conversion rate, meaning getting people to respond, to get on that discovery call with you, and then ultimately get your first client. So I had great success when I really made mine personal and took time and care with reaching out. So my favorite ways for finding clients would be reaching out to people in my sphere, friends and family. And then the other option would be cold pitching. So reaching out to people who are totally cold to me and ultimately turning that into a lead and potentially my first client. So like I said, this idea of there being really 4 different ways to get leads for your business, I have 2 that I think I really recommend putting to the side in the beginning as you're building your business, and 2 that I really like to see my students lean into. However, it's one of those things that you have to do what works for you. And if you love creating content, you're excited about getting out there on social media, by all means, lean into that. But I find that it's pretty quick when you're reaching out to people who are already contacts with you. And then as far as cold pitching, that can be pretty quick too. So you're not relying on algorithms or will your content be seen or anything like that. Like I said, it's really empowering where you're putting yourself in the driver's seat, and you could set a goal for yourself where you're sending out 10 cold pitches a day or maybe 100 cold pitches a day. And it really is a numbers game, and the more you do it, really the more data you can collect and kind of see what's working, what's not working. So I hope you found this helpful when you're thinking about how to find clients. There are really those 4 ways. If you want to read that book, $100 Million Leads, I will say Alex Hormozi is an amazing teacher and all of his content is really great. But I love the way that he explains that with really how to find those leads, and that there's not a million different ways. There's 4 main ways really. So figuring out what's going to work for you and kind of lean into that. And it truly is with your Pinterest management business. So it's truly not an if, but a when you are committed to taking consistent action for your Pinterest management business. The clients are out there, and I truly believe there is enough room at the table for everybody. And especially in the beginning when you might be a 1-person show and maybe you can really only handle somewhere between 5 to, on the high end, 10 clients. Think about how many small businesses there are out there. Think about how many large businesses. Think about just how many businesses there are in general. And guess what? They should all mostly be on Pinterest. Now, if you're wondering, okay, but could every business be on Pinterest, Emily? That's another story for another episode on YouTube. Let me know in the comments what questions you have, and I would love to support you through that. I also would love to see you at my next live free Pinterest manager training, where you can learn more about starting your Pinterest management business and also learn more about applying to my Pinterest Manager Academy. I also do have another resource I want to share with you. I have my Pinterest Manager Challenge, which I will link in this episode. And what that challenge is essentially how to quickly get your portfolio completed, so then you can start putting yourself out there and landing clients for your Pinterest management business. So if you are ready to get your Pinterest manager portfolio done specifically, then definitely check out that challenge. Now, if you just want a more of a deep look at starting the business and that overview, then definitely attend my free training. So I also would love for you to like this episode. Let me know in the comments what questions you have so I can support you. And I can't wait to see you soon in next week's episode. Bye for now.